A man accused of sexually abusing boys while he was head of boarding schools in Norfolk and Suffolk has admitted that he had no formal teaching qualifications. Derek Slade, who's now 61, told a jury at Ipswich Crown Court he strongly denied engaging in serious sexual assaults on boys in his care. But he did admit there was a sexual element to punishments he administered. He has denied a series of charges between 1978 and 1984. The trial continues.
Now, it's hard to imagine with the weather we've been having, but the owner of a traditional seaside boating lake in Suffolk is appealing for help because the water is vanishing.
Pam Jackson has run the Southwold boating lake and cafe for 9 years. But this summer, business is suffering because water levels have dropped so low that many of the boats can't be used now. Laura Burns has our report.
Just one of you do it for now. Just one of you do both.
Pam Jackson loves to see visitors on the water, but at the moment the lake's only open to children, as the water's disappearing. This front pond has been topped up to allow paddle boats to go out, but elsewhere the water is way below normal levels, meaning none of these boats have been out in ages. Recent downpours mean the lake now looks more healthy, but it's still nowhere near usable.
There's nowhere for them to go, they would just get stuck on the bottom. And this is the problem. I mean, we normally have a good anything from 2 up to maybe 5 foot of water in places, and we haven't had that for over 2 years now.
Do you think it's a shame that adults aren't getting the chance to go out as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I think they'd enjoy it as much as we enjoy it. I think they're missing out. It's good fun.
Also missing out are Pam's tea rooms. Despite recently being voted one of the top 25 in Britain, visitor numbers are dropping. She's now working with the Environment Agency and a professor specialising in lagoons to try and work out where the water's going. Well, some experts believe it could be down to a growth in the number of reed beds in nearby marshes, as these plants are huge consumers of water. Others suggest it could be down to recent sea defence work. Whatever the problem, Pam just wants it sorted and fast. Because until then, business continues to be a worry. Although they can definitely count on one little visitor coming back. Laura Burns, Anglia News, Southwold.
More than 200 weapons have been handed in during an amnesty in a Suffolk seaside town. Police in Lowestoft say they've collected 118 knives, as well as shotguns, cleavers and a bayonet during the 8-week period. And despite the area having a low rate of violent crime, a number of handguns.
We'd always like to think that we don't have any in our area, but sometimes, as you can see from some of the things that have been handed in, they're often very, very old weapons that they're not actually usable in the commission of firing. So it's always just good to get them off the streets anyway.
A council in Suffolk is denying claims that a scheme designed to save money has in fact led to a huge overspend. St Edmundsbury Borough Council say the initial overspend of £720,000 was for refurbishing 2 leisure centres at Haverhill and Bury St Edmunds, which were damaged by fire. The council says the work has actually allowed them to reduce running costs at the centres by £500,000 a year.
On to football now. Ipswich manager Roy Keane believes former striker John Stead will get a warm reception from home fans if he makes his debut for Bristol City tomorrow.
And there could be a debut in the Norwich ranks as they look to bounce back from their midweek Carling Cup exit. Donovan Blake previews the weekend games now.
A timely arrival for Norwich. Leon Barnett was a Luton player when he made his Championship debut 5 years ago. Tomorrow, the defender on loan from Premier League West Brom is set for his Norwich debut at Nottingham Forest. A vital addition for City, with one of their key centre-backs, Michael Nelson, missing. Barnett is also a former teammate of Elliott Ward.
He'll give us some pace at the back. He knows Wardy really well from the Coventry days, so we needed somebody to come in due to Michael's injury, but I don't have any problems I've thrown them in.
Nottingham Forest is always a hard trip, and hopefully it'll be a testing one for us, and hopefully we can get the 3 points at the end of the day.
Just days after leaving Ipswich, striker John Stead returns to Portman Road tomorrow as a Bristol City player, while a home debut beckons for new arrival Jason Scotland. An unbeaten start for Town, but one big element required for future success.
Consistency will involve the whole team. Scoring goals will involve less of the 11 players. I'd be delighted if it involves as many of them as possible. But, Jason is now very much going to be the focus of our goal-scoring ambition.
Colchester's purchase of Andy Bond from non-league Barrow is turning out to be a shrewd bit of business by manager John Ward. 2 goals in successive league games. Will his run continue tonight against Carlisle? Peterborough fans will be asking the same of their golden trio of Aaron McLean, Craig McHale-Smith and George Boyd at Plymouth tomorrow. All 3 have been among the goals in League and Cup in the past week. And Craig Easton's goal for Southend wasn't quite enough to produce a shock at Wolves in the Carling Cup, but their performance will give them encouragement as they bid for their first league win of the season tonight at Bradford. Donovan Blake, Anglia News.
Yeah, having battled to a long-awaited century in the last Test match, it's been another struggle for the Essex batsman Alistair Cook for England against Pakistan. Cook didn't add to his overnight score of 10. He was out caught behind the second ball of the day. That's the first of 4 wickets for just 8 runs. But England have now rallied to 305 for 7. Thank goodness.
Right, before we head to the Anglia allotment, here's a little of what you can expect to see on the rest of your news hour.